I'll call to order the December 2nd, 2010 meeting of the Ascension Parish Council. Right now, we'll have the invocation by Mr. Kerry Williams, and let's remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Most Heavenly Father God, we come tonight to give you glory, Father, give you honor, dear God. Dear God, we actually now look down on this parish right now, dear God. Continue blessing them, Father, hold them tight in your arms, dear God. Dear God, look down on one, your own Pat Bell, Father. We ask you to crown his head with more wisdom and knowledge, dear God. Dear God, don't forget to look down on the parish president, Tom Martinez, dear God. Don't forget to look down on my councilman, Oliver Joseph, dear God. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. And everybody say, amen. Amen. Allegiance to the flag with the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, living and just for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary. All present except Councilman Kent Shake Snyder and Chairman Bell, who hopes to be back up moving around in about a week. We're going to public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please sign in with the Secretary. You'll be given some time to speak then. On presentations, we have no presentation tonight. Parish President's report. Excuse me. I'll skip one. I do have one from I have a request that we have a chair's edition for an executive session to update on negotiations on insurance claim on the Council on Aging building.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. George Valentine. Roll call.
Councilman Cullen.
Yeah.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Joseph.
Yes.
Councilman Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Chris Laurel.
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes.
Passed. We'll move that to agenda item number 26A. 26A. All right, moving quite along. Mr. President, anything to report, sir? We have nothing on the consent agenda. We'll move into committee recommendations on agenda item number 8, utilities. We have one speaker, Ms. Catherine Goppel.
Good evening, Councilman. I met last week with Ms. James and Mr. Shriver and to look at the plans of both American Water and Integra Water. They're very sketchy, and what I came away with in that meeting is that we really don't have a plan. The Corps has not accepted, the DEQ has not accepted the Corps' plan as being viable, and both Integra and American Water's plans are too sketchy to get the approval of the Corps. So there's some work that needs to be done to get a plan in place before you go get the loan. Just some things I did find out that I think the public should be aware of. The hookup was about a $2,500 at the beginning, and they've got it down to about $1,750 per household. In our discussions, it was also brought up that there was a possibility that the subdivisions would not be paying for the hookup, and that is really troubling to me. Because if there's 500 homes in a subdivision and they're not paying to hook up, and individual homeowners that aren't in a subdivision are going to be paying $1,750 per home, that is not justifiable. Every home should pay. And I want you in your negotiations, and you're discussing this with Integra, every home should pay. I really believe that is the fairest way to do it. The $45 a month a fee is a good benchmark, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay there. Baton Rouge used to have that. Now it's up to $80 a month. So we can't say, yeah, we'll start with $45, but people need to be aware it could go up. They're also considering a sales tax or a property tax, and I did remind the people in the meeting that you cannot charge someone for a service they do not receive. This is a 20 to 30-year build-out, so if somebody's going to hook up, or you're going to give them a hookup, you can't start charging them a property tax if they're not hooked up to the sewer. One question that hasn't been asked by anybody in the discussions is that we don't really have, asked this question, why does the government have to take over the private plants? We don't know how we're going to do it or how much money it's going to cost us. And this is still unanswered. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Chairman Thompson.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion, ask to make a motion to approve that we're going in negotiation with Integral Water on a comprehensive plan. We will have Integra to give the Utilities Committee and the full council a presentation, and it's a lot of stuff, a lot of information we need to talk about and get resolved, but this is only to go in negotiation with Integra.
Second.
We have a motion.
And this came out of Utilities Committee.
Okay.
Recommendation.
We have a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Cullen. Any discussion? Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Thompson, give us kind of chronologically how, I mean, all this does is allow negotiation with Integra as far as we only had two, right? American
Yes, sir.
Water, Integra Water. And this will kind of put forth what the plan would be.
Yes, sir.
There'll be opportunities down the road to adjust or
Yes, sir.
bail out or do whatever we can do if we find that this is too much of an economic impact on the parish and some of the things that maybe Ms. Goffin talked about, dealing with hookups and all to be worked out within the situation.
That's our plans, to
Okay.
work out the user fee, the impact fees, and come up with a good solid plan that we don't hurt the residents of Ascension Parish.
Okay.
And that's basically what we're gonna do. And I would ask that Councilman Collins and I be involved with the negotiation, and a couple other members could sit in if you want to.
I don't know if I want you negotiating, but I mean, no, I'm just picking
I just want to sit in, I'm not gonna do anything.
You want to
I'm sure
negotiate?
you can sit in. But anyway, okay, that's all I have.
Any other discussion?
Parish President?
Mr. President.
Yes, I think a lot of the questions Ms. Gopler brought up are very valid. There's some things that need to be worked out. I met with DQ, I guess it was about 3 weeks ago. They're all willing to give us a little time to negotiate before they close the door on us being able to borrow the money. So that's one good thing. We also basically need to set a benchmark as to, how much are we willing to, if you want us to negotiate, where do you want us to stop negotiating as far as the hookup fee? I think the $45 has been pretty well stated in every meeting that we've discussed this. I don't think we've ever as a group discussed the hookup fee as to where we want to be. If you want to be right now, it would be $2,500 and $1,700 is the benchmark to be $500. Is that the goal that we kind of shooting for? And if we have to shoot for that goal, we're certainly going to have to subsidize in some way, shape, or form. So again, there's a lot of things that need to be answered. This is not going to be something that we're going to jump to some conclusion right away. I think that the easiest part is going to probably be the engineering part. The hardest part is going to be able to set these fees and try to hold them in perspective and make sure that we certainly service as many people on the East Bank as possibly can in the shortest amount of time. So that's kind of where I think we need to start. And I think first thing you always need to start with is money and economics, especially this time. So I would ask that you maybe think about what benchmark we're talking about when we're talking about hookup fees. And again, the other question is, do we charge everybody, or do we not charge the people that's already hooked up, and some of them possibly have paid a hookup fee? And if those people have paid a hookup fee, maybe have a reduced hookup fee. So those are some of the problems that we're going to face when we're trying to negotiate. But we need to get an idea from the council or the utilities committee as to what the benchmarks are.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Mr. Todd Lamb.
Yeah, I guess a question, maybe, Mr. Larry. I've been getting a lot of people ask me on, we have a hookup fee, but also the residents are going to have to run their trunk line all the way from their home. Right now, they have them ran, but they're going to have to bypass their MODADs and their sewer treatments, correct? And we have some homes that's on private roads. They may be a half a mile deep. Now, they're going to have to get that trunk line all the way to the main road to make these sewer tie-ins. That's some of the questions that are under the negotiation y'all need to, because it's going to be a whole lot more cost than just this flat hookup fee y'all talking about for our residents. Every resident's going to have some tie-ins all the way from their home that they're going to have their MODAD pumped out, which could be $350, $400, $500 there just to pump it out and bypass it. So it's a lot more cost that, questions that I'm getting from the public that definitely needs to go into negotiation when it comes as far as the hookup fees.
Yes, Mr. Thompson.
Councilman Lambert, we plan to look at that whenever we go into negotiation and talk about it. Right now, on the systems that we have now, the impact fee is like $500. But we're going to look at it, but first we need to go in negotiation and find out where we need to be at. But
I just wanted one of them questions brought to them.
Right, we will discuss it at the utilities committee meeting and come up with a hard number and bring it back to the council.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Shake.
Chairman. I'm just glad we're moving forward with something. It's been 35 years since we've had an opportunity to get parish-wide sewer. Hopefully, we can get past the obstacles and get to the opportunities that this presents us. Make sure everyone in the parish understand the opportunities that parish-wide sewer and on the east side, which is what we're talking about here, gives you businesses opportunities and everything, and we have some obstacles to overcome. I think if we work hard at it and do a good job, we can take care of the problems that do come up. Let's solve those problems and move on. Let's go at it in a positive stance, work together, get these problems solved, and get them as least costly as possible. I know they're doing it everywhere else across the country, and I see no reason why we can't do that in Ascension Parish. So hopefully we can all work together and get this thing going in a positive directions, and I share everybody's concerns that we do have. So I'm just glad we're moving forward in a positive manner. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is the Corps of Engineer project, because we're going to this system or we're going through this process, the Corps of Engineer project is terminated, correct? That's my understanding, or they have any part in this project now since we are contracting it out? Because we had we have a plan with the Corps of Engineer, and now we're going this direction. We're eliminating one of them.
You eliminating the core plan as it is today, yes. Basically, what you're looking at is you may be able to utilize some of that material that you've paid for over the last 8 years, I think it was, since 2002, that you've been dealing with the Corps. So hopefully they'll work with us. We've discussed that with them and be able to utilize some of the information and some of the engineering that's been paid for to incorporate into this plan.
And they just wanted to make sure the public understand that we only got one plan now. I mean, we had contractors out there, so we're going with this contractor, but the Corps of Engineers out of the picture, basically. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item number 9, Personnel Committee recommendations. We have several speakers on this. First, Patty Boudreaux.
Good evening. My name's Patty Boudreaux. I live in Darrah. I've lived there all of my life, and I would like it to stay pretty much just like it is. I understand things have to change. Our roots go very deep. Family is very important to all of us. But our government is broken. Broken because it's forgotten where its roots are supposed to be, with the people. I'm not talking about Washington. I'm talking about here in Ascension Parish. I'm talking to you, Councilman Thompson. You are supposed to be representing our community and our parish. All we are asking for is one more new face on the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's that simple. You have all played your power games and seem to think that no one can touch you where you are. Without the people, not one of you would be sitting where you are today. You act like you're better than the majority of the people, and that you know what is best for all of us. You act like we're the reason you can't get your act together. But the truth is, you spend more time playing politics than you do working for us or listening to us. When you go into your back room and you make your deals, you leave us, the people, out in the dark. When we tell you what we think, you ignore us. When we tell you again because you didn't hear the first time, you insult us by saying you want to hear from the people. We are the people. And we could be screaming at the top of our lungs, and you still wouldn't hear us. And it's not because you're deaf. It's because your arrogance has taken away a lot of your compassion, your heart, and your common sense. I'm so tired of everyone's cocky behavior. We don't want high-density development, yet you're pushing for Mr. Kraus to be reappointed. He wants high density, and he thinks he knows what's best for the people. His vision for the parish is not our vision. No matter how qualified, his arrogance and attitude make him unfit to serve the public. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Ellie Brooks? Eli? Yeah. The Y threw me off.
Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
Afternoon.
I'm back up here tonight to talk to y'all about the this vacancy on this planning commission. I'd like to see one of the four that's already names has been submitted be chosen, or someone be appointed. You know, it's hard for people to understand, especially elected politicians, that the people are starting to take a look at what y'all are doing. And we just like good representation. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Charlotte Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Councilman.
Thank you.
I will echo Patty and Eli's voices and say that there is a vacant position on the Planning and Zoning Commission, that there are 4 qualified applicants that are before you. There's no reason to reopen an application process when you have 4 qualified applicants. We're familiar with some of the applicants on there. Backgrounds, they have skills, knowledge, gift sets. that include environmental work, utility work. You have a person in the audience tonight that approached you with information that personally I think a person behind the microphone should have been bringing forward about usage fees and all that, all those things. Why weren't y'all thinking of those questions? Why did a resident have to come forward and bring it and highlight it to you? There are qualified people already there. Mr. Benny Johnson, at Oak Primary, when we had the public meetings, and I was asking about the qualifications of the commissioners that sit, you said that it's difficult to get people to even apply and are willing to serve. But you had 6 people who were willing to serve. You had 3 who were wanting to be reappointed and 6 new applicants. There are 4 more qualified people who can be used. And I suggest that y'all look at those. There's no reason. This is beyond precedent. And you need to act respectful of the people that went through the process, went through the interview piece. That needs to be respectful. This is a slap in the face. Personally, I found it a political manipulation. I'm in District 2. When we went looking at this, couldn't believe that this was again on the agenda, called for the Ascensions of a Citizens to rise up, call the councilman. 3 councilmen we chose not to even bother calling. Sad to say, Mr. Shake Snyder, you were one chosen. My own district, we didn't feel like the councilman would hear what the people say, historically are not listening. I want you to hear this as messages being echoed and echoed and echoed through all the public meetings. We want to be heard. There's no reason for this political manipulation. That's the appearance. You need to avoid that appearance. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Terrio.
Good evening, members of the council,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Councilman, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, I come before you appealing to your good judgment. We have apparently 4 people who are still left in the pool, who've been through the process. We have 4 good qualified people. I'd like for y'all to consider appointing one of those 4. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Mario Avocado.
The Planning and Zoning Commission members are appointed positions by the Ascension Parish Council. The procedure established has been advertised in the paper of record for 3 to 4 weeks. There is a deadline to submit the applications with a resume. After this deadline, applications go to the Personnel Committee, which is made up of 5 council members. Presently, Tom Lambert is chairman. Councilman Cullen, Lord, Johnson, and Thompson serve on the committee. The interviews have been scheduled with the Personnel Committee. Applications were interviewed one by one. The Personnel Committee then selects their list of applicants and makes recommendations to the full council for approval. The council can accept the recommendations, reject the recommendations, which they did. Kraus was rejected by the entire council, those that showed up, sir. And this has been voted on. You have 4 more people. Re-advertising is done when there's no applicants for advertised opening. Re-advertising is done when there are qualified applicants. 4 applicants remain who have applied, interviewed, and can be considered by the full council. A decision for the Personnel Committee to re-advertise for this position is totally inappropriate, and you guys know this. If you're not going to stand up and be the elected people you are, we're going to have a king. He's going to tell you everything to do. Turn in proxies, give it to him, and he'll vote everything out. You've already voted on this. You rejected Kraus. You got 4 people, pick one of those 4. If this is illegal, it certainly is unethical. Do not open bids again. These appointments are political, to be sure, and politics is being played. Just why you are hell-bent on reappointing Alan Kraus is unknown. After so much opposition from the public, citizens have made themselves crystal clear. If you fail to choose from the 4 existing applicants and re-advertise, the public will continue to protest. You will keep the fire of controversy burning. We will be back again. and again and again.
Ms. Lynn Whitmer. Lynn Whitmer.
Hello, my name is Lynn Whitmer, and I live in Santamon. Randy Cluott is my councilman. The issue before you of appointing citizens to the Planning and Zoning Commission is straightforward. You advertised, you received applications and resumes of willing residents. Your personnel committee interviewed each one of them. At your November 18th meeting, you appointed 2 out of the 3 open positions. It's time to fill the 3rd position. Do it tonight. For every district in this parish, people have told you that we want new people on the commission. We want to be part of any plan you are preparing for our community. We are tired of being left out and insulted by the arrogant attitude of some of the appointed and elected officials. Why can't y'all listen to the people? The people are clear on this issue. You're supposed to represent the people, but apparently you're not capable of doing so because you will not listen to the people. A 2-year-old listens better than what y'all been doing. Stop stalling and playing games with the public. There is no need to re-advertise for the final position on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Citizens have been told by your members that you want to bring Alan Crouch back. He has served, but he doesn't listen to the people or represent our community. He has been rude to the public, and his arrogance is disturbing. A support for Mr. Crouch is a slap in the face to the citizens of this parish. We are asking that you listen to the people and appoint a new commissioner from the existing applicants. If you continue to force your will on the people and refuse to hear our voices, we will work to remove you from office next October and find people who will represent the citizens and listen. Thank you.
Ronnie Cochran. Ronnie Cochran.
Good evening, guys. Thank you for allowing me a minute to speak. I'm a resident of District 7. Chris Lohr is my councilman. And the reason I'm here is I have concern, just like everybody else in our community. I tried to contact you, Chris, and actually couldn't get a call back and didn't get a phone answered not long ago pertaining to the same issue that we're all here about tonight. When you were campaigning, you came around and spoke to my wife and myself, and we gave you our time, our ear, and our support at that time, and in hopes that you would, be our voice and listen to what the community and the public says. I have to tell you a little bit at this point, we're disappointed. Stood a couple weeks ago, and when you voted for a previous commissioner who didn't listen to the people, it kind of shows it to us that you don't care about what the people have to say or how we feel about things in this parish. This kind of arrogance, I think, disturbs everyone. All of you guys are, like you've heard tonight, you're put in office by the people to represent the people. Our best interest and the best interest of the community. It doesn't appear that those obligations are being fulfilled. I imagine y'all are tired of, probably feel like you're getting beat up on. We're tired of having to come here. I'd say we get the ball rolling. There's 4 people that are willing, capable, and ready to serve. Let's pick one of them. I agree with what was said earlier. A reappointment for Alan Krause is not only a slap in the face, it shows that you really don't care what the voice of the public is saying. Don't know the guy. I don't have anything against him. I just think we definitely need some change. Elections are next year. Citizens are probably watching things a little more closely than they ever have in the past, at least in the 10, 12 years that I've been in this area. And like I said during the last meeting, I have 5 immediate family members that live out here, and we all pretty much feel the same way. Would like to stay in this area. A good friend of mine lived in New Jersey, was there when, I didn't come here to get in on the growth plan, smart plan, but he lived there, and it was a nightmare. He moved. He said the rate, the crime, and all those bad things came in. is just unbelievable. So, you know, let's listen to the people, guys. That's what brought y'all here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gerald Ehrman. Gerald Ehrman. I got E-I-E-R. There he is right there.
Pronounced Ironman.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, I understand. Dear Parish Council, my name is Gerald Ironman, and I live in District 11. Thank you for allowing me to exercise my right to speak at this meeting. I moved my family to Ascension Parish 31 years ago because of the rural environment and because it is a good place to raise a family. I want it to remain a good place for my grandchildren. Mr. Johnson, I live in your district, and I am against the master plan. I attended the council meeting on November 18th, and you did not. The citizens of this community spoke, and the council listened by not approving Alan Krause then, nor do we want him now. Choose the next planning and zoning commissioner from the 4 existing applicants. The citizens are speaking again now, and we will speak again at election time. Thank you.
Carla Baca.
Excuse me, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you for letting me address you tonight. I've been coming to the meeting since the district meeting at Oak Grove School. I am against the master plan and anyone who is fighting for it. You set up the process that citizens followed to apply for the commission, and it is up to you to pick one of the qualified applicants that have already been interviewed. I'm tired of attending these meetings to make sure that you do the honest and right things for the citizens of Ascension Parish, as much as you hate seeing all of us. Mr. Johnson, my husband and I voted for you, but if you vote against the citizens of Ascension Parish, we will do everything in our power to find someone else who is willing to listen and represent the people of Ascension Parish. Thank you.
Teresa Robert. Teresa Robert.
Residents continue to ask for 3 new commissioners on the Planning and Zoning Commission. You appointed 2 on November 18th. Thank you. The 3rd position is still left. The recommendation of the Personnel Committee to reappoint Mr. Alan Krause was rejected by this council this same night because of the tremendous opposition to his reappointment by Ascension Parish residents. While serving as chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Mr. Krause repeatedly supported the master plan, which promoted high-density development throughout our parish despite the overwhelming outcry from our citizens who are committed to protecting the quality of life that we cherish. I personally heard Mr. Krause volunteer, without being asked in his Personnel Committee interview, his support for the master plan and his intention to do all in his power to further it. What arrogance and what egotism would possess a person to push oneself onto a commission when the people adamantly oppose his appointment? Could such a person possibly be an asset to the commission? Councilman Todd Lambert, chairman of the Personnel Committee, stated at the council meeting that his committee would meet and make a recommendation for the 3rd position from the 4 existing applicants. However, at the November 29th Personnel Committee, members Benny Johnson, Chris Lohr, and Adrian Thompson, the ones in attendance, decided they would not choose any of the 4 existing applicants, but would re-advertise for the position. This is an insult to the 4 citizens who submitted applications and resumes in the required timeline and participated in the interview process to serve our community. Councilman told constituents this week that this was a way to bring back Mr. Krause, who is so important to the commission, that many people support his appointment. Besides Mr. Martinez and a few councilmen, who supports his appointment? Any councilman who supports this recommendation tonight offends citizens, demonstrating your loss of effectiveness to serve our parish and its people, and casts a vote in favor of the proposed master plan, which was rejected by the people. Instead of addressing the truly critical issues facing our parish, you seem to choose to play politics. Next year is an election year. People will not forget your actions, Mr. Lohr. We're asking tonight for the final appointment to be made from the list you now have. 4 qualified citizens have volunteered their service. They participated in the process that you established. You cannot change the rules midway because you fear that you will not have control of the commission. No one should control the commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission will only succeed with diverse, qualified, and honest citizens with a willingness to follow the law and a commitment to make Ascension Parish the best it can. Citizens are watching. You may be voting tonight, but remember, citizens will be voting come October. Mr. Shake Snyder, my councilman, I do stand here tonight and ask you to do the right thing.
Mr. Greg DePlusis. Greg DePlusis. Greg DePlusis. Dave.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's good to be here again, getting kind of regular. But I must say, I'm feeling pretty good about things that have happened over the last 6 or 8 weeks. I've seen some good progress made. I've had some great conversations with a number of you councilmen sitting up there that gives me hope that we can make this turn. I view it as we've come to a fork in the road, and you got 2 choices. You can stay on the same road, and we can keep going in the same direction we've been going in, which myself and a lot of other people in this parish think is the wrong direction. Or we can make a turn, and that turn can get started here tonight by listening to the people and doing what procedure says we need to do. You do have, as I understand it, 4 applicants to choose from. And I would ask that you take a look at those 4 applicants, and if there's one in that group of 4 that meets all of the qualifications and requirements, then I would ask we take a good look at that and try to pick one of those 4. I took a peek at the agenda for the Planning and Zoning meeting coming up next Wednesday night, and it's quite extensive. And I don't see any let-up in sight. There's just still a lot of stuff going on, a lot of subdivisions, family partitions were in there, servitude revocation, just a lot of work. And we don't need to dilly-dally around and open up these applications again, knowing that we have 4 applicants. So let's keep things moving, let's stay positive, and try to fill that spot tonight and let this commission get on about its business. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Charles Hebert. Charles Hebert.
Good evening, Councilman. My name is Charles Hebert, and I live in Mr. Kluas district, and I come here to praise y'all tonight. I live in Sanamo, and years ago, they dug a ditch through my property, the CC ditch, if some of y'all remember what the CC was about. And later on, a cow, one of my cows, died on the other side of the ditch. Well, the police juryman at that time got the parish to come out and bury the animal, which I thought was real nice. But then the police juryman said I was lucky in that the cow was on the other side of the ditch because the backhoe was so heavy it cracked the bridge, the existing bridge. So he said the parish would repair it. I said, that's fine. But what was the rule or the agreement when y'all got permission to dredge this ditch? And the police juryman replied, do you know how long ago that was? And my response was, how long is the government's word good for? Then as life goes on, I went to some of the council meetings, particularly those about the master plan. And at this particular meeting, somebody in the background stood up, shouted out a question, and it was answered. Then somebody else shouted out. And it was almost to the point of becoming unruly, but the chairman had a good handle on it. He calmed everybody down. We got some questions and some answered. And then the council allowed the planning commission to go to individual sections of the community and have community input, output, a true dialogue. To me, I was so proud of the system. You know, that is true democracy. That's what it's all about. You come here so people can share information backwards and forwards. So when I was in high school, our graduation class went to a trip to Washington, D.C. And I was a young kid. I was so awed at going to the legislature, going to see Alan Ellender and Russell Long. To me, it made it so real. This is how the country is being run by these people and their process. Had I gone at an earlier age, I would have been a much better student in civics than I was. But anyway, some of the words that I can remember from back then was majority rules, government for the people, by the people, and of the people. And God bless y'all, because y'all have a decision to make, and all the parish is looking at you. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
That's all the speakers we have on that, Chairman Todd Lambert.
Okay, we did meet Monday, the Personnel Committee meeting, and what come out of committee was re-advertisement of the Planning and Zoning Commission vacancy. I did state to the commission, the committee that, at the last council meeting, like I think Ms. Teresa said, I did state that we were going to look at the existing applicants and pick one from the existing applicants since we already interviewed them. But as a chairman, I don't vote in the committee because I was the chairman of the Personnel Committee and got overruled on that. So that's what come out of committee, was to re-advertise the Planning and Zoning Commission vacancy.
Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a, yes, Mr. Valentine.
This time, I'd like to make a motion that we do not take the recommendation of the Personnel Committee and appoint one of the four. And the name I have here is Cindy Quick. I attended some of the personnel interviews, but not all. But I understand Ms. Quick is a lifetime resident of the parish, and I want to submit to her as a name to fill Alan Krause's position.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion on the floor to not follow the recommendations of the committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Point of order.
Okay.
This is not on the agenda to do that, to appoint somebody on that. I don't know, it's just a question of point of order. Make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. Can we get a ruling?
Legal?
Based on what's on the agenda, we're strictly voting on the re-advertisement, yes or no tonight. I don't think we're voting to appoint someone, and I don't think that can be done.
So that's your legal opinion, that we can't vote on that, that we either have to,
Even,
we hit, Go ahead, Mr. Lambert.
Even,
If you
Ms.
want to
Tony,
speak.
even though at the last council meeting, I stated at the meeting, it's in the minutes, I have the copy of the minutes right here, that we would look at the existing other applicants and choose one from that. That's what the Personnel Committee agenda was. Now, I can't help what come out of the committee, but the Personnel agenda was to pick one of the applicants that we have to fill the third seat. It's still, you think it's still,
My only question to you is were all of the applicants ranked? Like the four that you had remaining, did you rank them, like 1, 2, 3?
we didn't rank any, it was more deliberation and we picked, you know.
So there wasn't any ranking? This
No.
is the only reason, because I knew this would probably come up tonight.
No, you go ahead and finish.
You finished? Go ahead. Go ahead, madam.
I just wanted to explain and make sure everybody understands something. I don't even think everyone knew that we have bylaws that were adopted in 2004 that I pulled up and made sure how we fill vacancies and stuff, because I wanted us to do this legally. I just want to give my legal opinion and let you all make the decision. But under vacancies and personnel committees, for vacancies for boards, I'll read the middle of it instead of reading the whole thing to y'all. You know, you submit resumes and everything you went through already. It says, the Personnel Committee shall review resumes and conduct interviews of selected applicants and make its recommendations of its top-ranked applicants for each vacancy to the full council for final ratification. Other applicants should be ranked and recommended in that order should the first recommendation be denied. Process continues until recommendation is accepted. And my reading of this is a should, in that after the first one is denied, you just rank the rest of them as how it should go. So that's why I asked you if they were ranked. I don't know.
So in simple speaking, that should they be ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, when 1 and 2 is voted in, number 3 is denied or voted down, then number 4 should be up for nomination. Is that what I'm reading
I'm not
here?
following you with all the numbers, but if you have number 1 and he comes up and he's denied, then you should have a ranking, or you rank the rest of them. It says should. It doesn't say you have to before, but this is what you should do, is have, like, if you have 3 left, have 1, 2, 3, and then that one comes up. If that one's denied, then the third one comes up, and that's how it should work.
What we're trying to achieve here is get to some good end of this. It just cannot continue to just keep coming up in meetings, as the fact is, do we need to go back to the committee with this? And review those bylaws.
We're not following the bylaws.
Mr.
Chairman,
Cullen.
that happened to us in the first year we were in office for the Mental Health Board, and we had to go back. They wouldn't let us just pick somebody out of the list. We had to go back into committee and nominate somebody else.
But that's what we tried to do Monday, but y'all didn't go by what the agenda was on the Personnel Committee.
Not y'all, I wasn't there. But anyway.
You cleared. So, what is your legal recommendation for us tonight, based on what we have in front of us? We definitely want to do what's legal, okay? And do what's right, okay? So, where do we go from here?
There's nothing in here that's concrete that says must, so you have 2 options. You can re-advertise and you all do it correctly and select and then rank everyone, or
Please, order, please, let us speak.
should, or
Say-
you can rank the remaining 4, because the way it reads is should.
Okay, so,
But I don't feel you can bring it up to a vote without
so
some
you,
kind of ranking.
what are you saying is that we can't necessarily appoint somebody tonight?
No.
So your recommendations is that they go back to committee and look at their ranking,
That,
or they re-advertise?
yes, those are your 2 options.
What,
Mr. Cullen.
Weren't there 6 applicants?
2 of them are on board already to be appointed.
No, but
It's just 4 left.
no, we had more than that.
We had 9.
We interviewed 9 altogether. 3 were recommended for appointments. We had 4 names Monday night at the meeting. We didn't have 6. So whether that's,
The other 2 dropped out?
We had 2 drop out before we interviewed. We had a total of 11 9 we interviewed, 3 reappointments, and 6 new people. We had Susan, I can name them off if y'all want to hear the names.
That's correct, that's the numbers, we have 9 total.
Randy,
Yes, Mr. Thompson.
it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Clute.
Yes, Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Clute, Mr. Shakes Snyder did ask you for a point of order. You will.
Yes.
You'll have to rule on a point of order. You got your information from it.
Yeah.
I will help you out. a
Well,
little
I'm-
bit.
my ruling
No,
is-
I'll withdraw my motion as stated and change my motion, if that is okay. I will move to not accept the personnel's recommendation and to send it back to personnel recommendation to rank the 4 people that have been interviewed and still willing to serve on the job, and bring one of those names to the council.
So you change your motion to not accept the recommendation of the committee and ask them to go back and review the prior 4 applicants.
And rank their rating.
And you second that. Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Chairman, question, there's 6 remaining people that are there. Out of 9, we recommended 3 in the initial time. There should be 6 names, not 4. In order to give everybody a fair shot, there should be 6
Whatever the number
resumes and not 4.
Mr. Valentine's all right with whatever the number is. We can, his motion remains the same, is the number. Mr. Lambert, do you still second that?
Yes, sir. I second.
Madam Secretary, let's correct the motion to show, to go back to committee and look at the 6 applicants, prior applicants. All right. And
We look at all applicants, that's.
let's just change it to all applicants that were in at the
Yeah,
time.
don't put a number.
Don't put a number.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. We have, huh?
I can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not I don't think it's necessary to
She
say
has
the
all-
names
she has
right
4 in
now.
front of her. She can go ahead with it.
But
It's not, it's 6, not 4. Y'all forgot to.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to send it back to committee and review the names of the applicants that were in place. And we have a motion by Mr. Valentine and a second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any more discussion?
Does the ruling, does the bylaws say anything in there about re-advertising? If, the only thing, if I recall right, the only time you re-advertise, no one submit.
That's correct.
I talked
Please give
Before I make my
Mr. Joseph
decision, I
time
wanna
to
be
speak.
clear.
And I want to be clear too, because all of the technicalities were not followed correctly, I did call the Police Jury Association today, so I wasn't the only one making this assertion and telling you all what should be done. I wanted a concrete basis to give you this information. And I was advised that y'all could re-advertise because it was not ranked like it should in the first place, so we are good either way.
But our rule does not say anything in there. I mean, you got a conversation, I understand that. But our rule, our bylaw, does not say anything but re-advertising if someone been in there.
Right, but we didn't follow our bylaws. I'm just giving y'all a legal basis.
Well,
because y'all
Well, I'm going to state one more time without taking up a lot of time, is that we definitely want to do what's legal to start off with, okay? Here tonight within our actions, all right? And goes back to committee or whatever, and then it'll be done. Let everybody do whatever's right that they feel in their heart. But legally, does Mr. Valentine's motion look good? To send it, to rescind what the committee sent and send it back to take a look at the prior applicants.
Does that void the
Well, excuse me.
2 people?
No, sir.
Point on.
Mr. Clute.
Point of order. Come on.
Mr. Clute, one comment. And I know I don't have to remind the council, she made the statement in bylaws of 204, I think it was. Up until 204, some of you, Mr. Thompson, you would remember how this process used to happen. Councilman would write somebody's name on a piece of paper and hand it to the chairman, and they'd just vote. You might have 7 people want to get on a position, and you'd have everybody vote for the person that was in that district. We formulated the personnel committee. It's only been in existence since 2004. And so we do have a process that does take place. I'm yielding to the legal, and I do agree with Mr. Joseph. I don't think we re-advertise unless there are no other applicants. You don't want to go through the same process of re-advertising and bringing people back in. The same people are going to advertise. I mean, going to reapply for the job, and you got to, interview them again. So I yield to Ms. Tony. I think she's right, and I think we need to just go ahead and vote on the motion, and we'll go back to the ranking system.
I just want y'all to understand what my recommendation is. I'm not recommending to or not to do, because everything in here is vague. Nothing is concrete and right on point. You all can do whatever you decide, but you do have those 2 options.
Well, we
It
do-
says should. It
We
doesn't
do have
say-
part of a bylaw that says that we should rank.
Yes.
Do we rank? Never have. We'll study from now on.
A lot of that problem was we only had maybe two applicants. We didn't have to, didn't have to rank.
Understand.
It has to be ranked if the top person gets picked.
Right.
I mean, you can read it to say that, or you can rank it in committee. You can read it to go either way.
As I sit in chair right now, we have a motion on the floor and we have a second, and we're under discussion. Any more
Yeah.
discussion? Yes,
I do
Mr.
want to say
Mr.
something. I
Shakespeare.
think it's important to say it right now. This is very important positions in the parish, and it's also probably one of the hardest things you can ever do. It's easy to all sit around when you have an individual problem and state what you'd like to see happen. But the hardest thing in the world is to stand up in front of a group of people and state and vote on and put your name in the paper for what is best for this parish, for what you believe is best for this parish from all you've studied. We're going to have 3 new people, and they're going to get an opportunity to do this. And we've had a group of people before that have done it. And I've heard people stand up here and call people names for what they've done or what the stance or the opinions that they've taken. For the people that don't know Mr. Alan Krause, he's one of the finest people in Ascension Parish. He served as a volunteer on the Planning and Zoning Department for a number of years. He's never belittled anybody. And for his opinions, we've decided to go in a different direction. That's okay. That's fine. But please don't make sure that you don't question his motives or anything about it, because he was a very fine man. You're going to find out with the new people that come in, regardless of the stances that are being taken, there's going to be a large percentage of people that object to what you end up having to do. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. I wish them good luck. I support them, whoever it may be, and let them know that we do have a great deal of issues, and we need to all come together and work hard on it. And yes, my phone is open every day. If you do call me, I will return your call. Don't not call me. And don't think you will not get someone that will sit down and talk with you. Okay? So I think that's very important. When we come up in here, please express your opinion. I'm glad everybody came tonight, and we can move forward. But let's move forward together in Ascension Parish and do it in the correct way and appreciate everybody's opinions. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move on to agenda item number 10. The Strategic Planning Committee recommendations. Mr. Shakespeare.
Yes, we've had a strategic planning meeting this past month. We've had a resolution, fire protection number 3. Chief, you want to tell us about it? that came to the committee.
Thank you, Ms. Shake. Snyder, Council, thank you for allowing us to be here. At the Strategic Planning Committee, we brought forth the Board of Commissioners for Fire District 3 is asking for the permission from the Ascension Parish Council to be able to place on the ballot April 2nd of 2011 and authorize the levy and collection of a 10-year, 10 mil tax for major construction, acquisitions of property, equipment, fire stations, and continued hiring of full-time firefighters to staff those fire stations. So,
Excuse me, Chief, we listened to his presentation, and we thought it was important to come forward to the full council for the vote to decide whether to put this in front of the people. So we'd like to open it up for questions for the chief, anything that you would to like to give to him. With that, it was a recommendation to go forward with the council and decide. So we're looking for a motion for someone to send this to the people for a vote.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Benny Johnson. You looking for a second? Second by Mr. Dennis Cullen. Any further discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes.
thank you,
Thank you,
Council.
Chief. Move into general business, discussion of available finances for the Donaldsonville Health Unit to open 5 days a week, and a resolution from the council to Governor Bobby Jindal requesting the same. Councilman Thompson.
Yes, what we have here is the state has decided to close the health unit here in Donaldsonville, just open it 2 days a week, and 2 days a week. And what we asking to send a resolution to our state rep, Elton Obear, Senator Jody Amadei, Eddie Lambert, and also Merck Smiley, asking him to.
I second that.
And Bobby Jindal also to ask him to help keep the health unit open here in Donaldsonville. And also was supposed to be on the agenda, asking the administration to look to see if we can find the money in the budget until the state make a decision, if the state make a decision to help keep the health unit open here in Donaldsonville because of the need. You know, there's a lot of people over here that uses that health unit, and so I'll offer that as a motion to draft up a resolution to send.
We have a motion to draft a resolution to send all our elected officials above us in favor of opening 5 days a week and supporting the Donaldsonville Health Unit by Mr. Thompson. We had a second by Mr. Joseph. Any discussion? Mr. President.
Per your request, Mr. Thompson, we did look at that, and we could possibly do that with a couple part-time people that would keep the office open, a part-time nurse and a part-time clerical person, so we would have the money available to do so if you choose to do so. We would have to amend the budget to do it.
Thank you, President.
Any further discussion? Motion passes. Agenda item number 12, Certificate of Substantial Completion Jail Sewer Project. Mr. Larry Shriver.
Yes, gentlemen, this particular item on the agenda is regarding the transfer of the jail sewage flow to the Donaldsonville wastewater treatment plant. That project involved a pump station at the jail that's complete. The effluent force main from that pump station to the plant headworks is complete, and there's very, very little work left to do, and the engineering firm has declared that the project is substantially complete. The completion date has been set at November 22nd, That means that the contractor has 45 days to complete the items on the punch list that you have there before you. There are 8 items. I won't go through all of them, but basically you can see some cleanup work, a little bit of concrete work in the drive. The only thing that, main thing really that has to be done is some air relief valves have to be put on the discharge line, effluent line at the high points. There's only 5 of them, and like I say, there's about 45 days to complete that work, and it should be done barring not too much wet weather. So the contractor will get wet weather days, so if there's Okay, I just found out that the air relief valves are going to have to be a change order that will be brought forth at the next meeting. Yeah, the one very good positive comment, the project is still going to come in underneath under the money. I think to the tune of around $50,000 under. So good, yeah. Everything's so moving, Chairman.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Adrian Thompson, to accept the substantial completion. Any more discussion? Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Schreiber, you will watch this project till the end to make sure that they finish all these items on the point list, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Do they have a timeline to finish those 8 items?
45 days.
Well, 45 days from November 22nd, 45 days.
Okay,
and
from the
then
22nd, 45 days.
Yeah, with some wet weather allowances.
Mm-hmm.
Rainy day allowance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Motion passes. Move on to agenda item number 13, request for proposal, municipal waste hauling. Ms. Joan Shivers.
Good evening. On October 21st, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 1 proposal for municipal waste hauling. The proposal was received from Master Vac Industrial Services. After review, the Non-Engineering Selection Committee recommend accepting the proposal from Master Vac Industrial Services and to authorize the parish president to enter into an agreement for this service.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Shivers. Agenda item number 14, 2010 State Homeland Security Program Grant. Ms. Martha Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Ascension Parish was awarded funds of $171,668.12, and I'm here tonight to ask for the council's approval to accept this funding and to authorize President Tommy Martinez to execute these documents and Ms. Glenn LeBlanc.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passed. Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to agenda item number 15, the planning and zoning recommendations. Item number 15, zoning review ID 2018.10. Go ahead. Mr. Ricky Compton.
Lot 11, Tanglewood subdivision for Paul and Martha Johnson, located on the north side of LA Highway 621, approximately 200 feet west of L. Landry Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed-use 2 for review only.
Thank you, sir. Introduction of ordinances. Ms. Falderman. Item number 16.
This is an ordinance directing the renewal of the levy of a 2-mil tax on all property subject to taxation in the parish for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2011 and ending with the year 2020 for maintaining and supporting a mental health program in the parish.
Motion to introduce.
We have a motion introduced by Mr. Todd Lambert. Second by Mr. Shake Snyder. Passes. Motion passes.
Okay, this is number 17, an ordinance directing the renewal of the levy of a 2 6/10 mill tax on all the property subject to taxation in the parish for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2011 and ending with the year 2020, for the purpose of maintaining and supporting the Ascension Parish Library and its branches.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
A motion introduced by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Motion passes. Number 18.
This is directing the renewal of the levy of a 4 2/10 mills tax on all the property subject to taxation in said parish for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2011 and ending with the year 2020, for the purpose of maintaining and supporting the Ascension Parish Library and its branches.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Benny Johnson, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Number 19.
This is to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed-use 2 for the Joseph Bro Jr., C.L. Deaver, and Selene Babin Pellerin tracts for Adrian Wagasback, located on the east side of L.A. Highway 73, approximately 3,000 north of L.A. Highway 74.
Motion to introduce.
We have a motion introduced by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Discussion? Any opposition?
This is to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed-use 2, Tract A and B of the Joseph A. Bro Jr. property for June DeLone and Tricia and Patrick Email, located on the east side of L.A. Highway 73, approximately 3,500 feet north of L.A. Highway 74.
Motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move into public hearings, ordinance. Agenda item number 21.
The purpose is to establish an intergovernmental agreement between the parish and the town of Sorrento to authorize the use of a certain 2002 international dump truck bearing VIN LHT SCA BR6 2H552353. Whereas the Ascension Parish owns a 2002 international dump truck bearing VIN LHT SCA BR6 2H552353. Whereas the Parish of Ascension agrees to allow the town of Sorrento the use of a certain 2002 international dump truck for the month of November 2010, the town of Sorrento agrees to maintain said vehicle. Be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council, as the governing authority in and for the Parish of Ascension, does hereby authorize the use of one 2002 international dump truck bearing VIN LHT-SCA BR62H552353 to the town of Sorrento as more fully contained in the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A. Be it further ordained that Tommy Martinez, Parish President, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to complete this transfer on behalf of the Parish Council.
Thank you. Move into public hearing.
Motion.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dennis Cullen.
Motion closed, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to close public hearing by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Dennis Cullen. We're moving to the ordinance.
Moved to ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert to move the ordinance.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any opposition? Ordinance is passed. Move to number 24.
The purpose is to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement of certain movable property owned by Ascension Parish and Ascension Parish Fire District Number 1 with Elaine Hunt Correctional Center. Whereas the Parish of Ascension and Ascension Parish Fire District Number 1 owns a 1992 Chevrolet Southland tanker bearing VIN 2NPRH N8X5AM795882. Whereas Elaine Hunt Correctional Center is adjacent to the Parish of Ascension and Ascension Fire District Number 1 and is currently having problems with moving large quantities of water for their field operations. Whereas Elaine Hunt Correctional Center agrees to provide inmate labor to Ascension Parish during a natural disaster to aid them in sandbagging and clearing of trees and debris from state parish roadways of all Fire District Number 1 property. Be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council, as the governing authority in and for the Parish of Ascension, with the permission, consent, and request of the Ascension Parish Fire District Number 1, does hereby authorize this exchange as more fully contained in the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. Be it further ordained that Tommy Martinez, Parish President, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to complete this exchange on behalf of the Parish Council.
Motion, open public hearing, Mr.
We
Chairman.
have a motion to move to public hearing by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Benny Johnson.
Motion closed.
We have a motion to close public hearing by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Benny Johnson.
Move the ordinance.
We have a motion by Mr. Benny Johnson to move the ordinance, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move on to agenda item number 26A.
Move to go into executive session.
We have a motion to go into executive session for the negotiation update on the insurance claim on the Council on Aging by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. We have a second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Roll call.
Yes.
You were late. You were late. We did that earlier. Yes.
Yes.
But you have to be on there in advance.
It's voted upon by everybody.
I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Point of order, Madam Legal.
I don't think you can just submit the agenda.
We did that first.
I was always under the opinion that you could add an executive session with a unanimous vote.
That's your opinion? Do I have to, since I didn't participate in that vote, do we have to revote? No, it's not too late.
We never got our vote finished.
Is there an urgent time? Instead of the controversy of going to executive session, can we just discuss it in front of everybody? It's not that serious. Or would y'all rather wait till the next meeting?
Is it urgent?
Once more, I
How
would,
urgent it is?
We can wait 2 weeks.
okay.
Put it on the next agenda.
Once more, I want to do whatever's illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll vote on whatever's right.
Okay.
Okay.
We can wait 2 weeks.
Okay. And we withdraw your motion? Miss-
Withdraw my motion.
Thank you, then. We'll scratch it from the agenda. We'll move to agenda item number 27. We have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Adrian Thompson. We are adjourned.